Hello, so here we are. It is an e-learning day as we thought it just might possibly be. In your notes, yesterday I gave you a note-taking form for Unit 4, Lesson 11, and we taped that in your notebooks. So you need to turn to your notebooks and open to that page to discuss today's lesson. So today's goal is to understand and solve problems about commission, interest, markups, and discounts. And we're going to talk about some definitions along the way as we go. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about a car dealership. Many of you have probably been with your parents before when you've purchased a car. If not, we're going to learn some information about what happens at a car dealership. A markup is a percentage that a business often adds to the price of an item that they sell. You will notice at the top of your notes page that there are some blanks there for definitions. So the first one you see is a markup. Again, a markup is a percentage that businesses often add to the price of an item they sell. Why do they do that? Well, they mark up prices in order to make a profit for themselves. Second definition you see is a markdown. A markdown is a percentage they take off a given price. So that would be something similar to a discount. If you need additional time to write those definitions down, pause the video, and when you're finished, hit play. When items such as cars, clothes, etc. are being sold, there are different prices for which they're sold. Your next definition on your notes page says a wholesale price. A wholesale price is the price the company, whether that be the dealership or some sort of a store, pays for the price of an item. That's the wholesale price. The retail price is the price the company charges to sell the product. So when I go, for example, to Walmart and I want to buy a sweatshirt, when Walmart purchased the sweatshirt from the company that they're buying it from, they may pay $10 for that sweatshirt. That's the wholesale price. It's what Walmart paid for that shirt. Versus when I go in to pay for it, I may have to pay something like $15. $15 is the retail price, or the price that I would have to pay to purchase that sweatshirt. That way Walmart would make a little bit of a profit to help them run their business. So let's take a look at some examples. A car dealership pays a wholesale price of $12,000 to purchase a vehicle. The car dealership wants to make a 32% profit. By how much will they mark up the price of the vehicle? So basically we're going to continue doing what we were doing the last few days. I just need to know what the markup is. So remember we were talking about percent of the original gives us our new price. Well, in this case, we want to take the 32% markup of the original price, which is $12,000, to get our new amount. Our new amount will be the markup, the markup that they charge us. So we have 32%, which we know we need to change into a decimal. We're going to multiply that times $12,000. So when you multiply 0.32 times 12,000, you get the markup to be $3,840. That's an extra amount that they're going to charge me for that vehicle. It's an extra amount of money that is their quote-unquote profit that they're going to make. Part B. After the markup, what is the retail price of the vehicle? So the wholesale price of the vehicle was $12,000, but they're going to charge me an additional $3,840. So I need to add those together to find out what the total cost of my vehicle is going to be. So when you add those together, you get $15,840. This would be considered the retail price of the car. That's not the only way that I could solve that problem, but it is one way that I could solve it. Okay, let's move on to our next example. We found that the retail price of the vehicle was $15,840 after the markup. During a special sales event, the dealership offers a 10% discount off of the retail price. After the discount, how much will the customer pay for this vehicle? So we've got a couple of different ways that we can work this. The dealership is offering a 10% discount. We know that when they offer the 10% discount that I'm no longer paying the full price of the vehicle. So normally the vehicle would be 100%. of the cost that I would have to pay. However, they're offering a 10% discount, so that means I'm going to subtract 10%, which leaves me with only 90% to have to pay. So I'm trying to find 90% of the original amount, which is $15,840, which will give me my new price. So 90% would be 0.9 of is times $15,840. That will tell me what my new price of my vehicle will be. So if you grab a calculator and multiply that together, you end up with your new vehicle costing you $14,256. Remember, that's not the only way that we could solve that. If I wanted to, another way I could solve it would have been to take 10% of that $15,840, which would be 0.1 times $15,840. If you grab a calculator and you multiply that together, you'll get $1,584. That's the amount of savings that I would have. So if I take that and I subtract that from my $15,840, you are going to arrive at the same answer we came up with earlier. So $15,256. So there's two ways. Remember, we can either subtract the percents at the beginning and then multiply that times the original price, or start with the percent discount and then subtract that from the original price. Our next is on commission at a gym. First thing we should probably do is talk about what commission is. So down at the bottom you will see a blank there next to commission. In blue, here is the definition. Commission is the money a salesperson gets when they sell an item. There are different occupations where people work off of commission. One of those would be, for example, at this gym. This person probably does make some sort of a base salary, but then they get an additional amount of money based on how many memberships they sell to the gym. Car dealerships, car salesmen also work off of commission. The more cars they sell, or the more dollars worth of cars they sell for the month, the more money they make for the month. So again, make sure you have the definition of commission written on your paper. It's the money a salesperson gets when they sell an item. It is usually used as an incentive for employees to sell more or higher priced items than they usually would. The commission is usually a percentage of the price of the item they sell. So let's look at an example. For each gym membership sold, the gym keeps $42 and the employee who sold it gets $8. What is the commission the employee earned as a percentage of the total cost of the gym membership? And then we're going to also look at, if an employee sells a family pass for $135, what is the amount of commission they get to keep? So let's take a look at question number 1. The gym keeps $42 and the employee who sold it gets $8. So what is the commission earned as a percentage of the total cost? So the first thing I know is that the gym gets to keep $42 of this membership cost, and the employee gets to keep $8. So that means that the membership cost was $50. So up front, the person would have been charged $50 for the membership fee. The person that sold it gets $8, and then the gym gets to keep 42 of those dollars. So what is the commission the employee earned as a percentage of the total cost? So the commission the employee earned was $8 out of the $50 that is the total cost of the gym membership. So you just need to do a division problem, 8 divided by 50, which would give you 0.16. Remember, this is a decimal. We need to turn it into a percent. So we're going to move the decimal twice to the right, which would give us 16%. So the employee made a 16% commission on the sale of this membership. Next question. If the employee sells a family pass for $135, what is the amount of commission they get to keep? Well, if they get to keep 16% commission, we're trying to find 16% of that gym membership, which was $135. So 16% we know is a decimal, is 0.16 times the $135. So 16% of $135, if you grab your calculators and multiply those together, you'll see your calculator says 21.6. Keep in mind this is an amount of money, so this person would make $21.60 commission off of the sale of that family pass. The next thing I would like you to do is to turn your paper over, and we're going to do a quick review of markups and markdowns. So on the back of your paper, you will probably have to pause the video so that you can write each of these down, but we're going to talk about all of the different things that we've talked about regarding percents of markups and markdowns. The first one we talked about was a sales tax. A sales tax is the amount of money that's paid to the government. It's a percent of increase. Because it is a percent of increase, it's an amount that is going to get added to the price of an item. And that's important to know. An increase that gets added to the price of an item. Secondly, we talked about gratuity or tip. A tip is something that gets paid to the server. That's an extra amount of money you have to pay, so it's a percent increase. And again, that also gets added. It's an amount that gets added to the cost of the meal. Third, we talked about interest. Interest is something that gets paid to the lender. Sometimes that's the bank that you're borrowing the money from, or it could also be given to the account holder. We talked about if you have a savings account, it could also be something that's given to you because the bank is borrowing your money. This again is a percent increase type of question. Again, it's an amount that is added to the balance of the loan, the credit card, or the bank account. So please make sure you've written all of those into your notes. Again, if you need to pause the video, please do so before you move on to the next part. A markup is an amount that is paid to the seller. So the person that is selling the item will charge a markup. It's a percent of an increase. So because it's a percent increase, again, it's an amount that gets added to the price of an item so that the seller can make a profit. That's where I was talking about the car, and they bought it for wholesale price, and then they marked it up, and then they sell it to the person. Or the sweatshirt at Walmart. Walmart purchased it for one price, but they charge us an extra amount of money. That's the markup. A markdown, otherwise known as a discount, is an amount that affects the seller. It is a percent of decrease. Because it's a percent of decrease, it's an amount that gets subtracted from the price of an item to encourage someone to purchase it. And then finally we have commission, which is what we talked about today. Commission is an amount paid to the salesperson. It is also a percent decrease. It is something that's subtracted from the payment that the store collects. So the store on that example that we were giving earlier, the gym charged $50 for a membership. So they had to give $8 of that $50 to the salesperson. So that's why it is subtracted from the payment the store collects. When you have completed taking your notes, please take a picture using your computer or your phone of both sides of your notes, and you will submit that on the assignment listed for Canvas. We'll see you tomorrow.